Well, always a favorite time of the week for me as a mayor when we get to talk about our employees of the week and our Friday's heroes, and today's no exception. Today's a special day for me because we're honoring our employee of the week is Michael Robertson, who's here on my right. Let me take you back to my first term. You know, we've been able to develop some of the best social programs of their kind, initiatives in the country. Heading Home is a perfect example. The work that we're doing on mental health initiatives, the work that we're doing to help lift people up in our community who need a hand. And that doesn't happen with somebody simply saying, here's the idea. It takes hard work, it takes diligence, it takes deep dives in the community, and that's what Michael Robertson has done. He is a division manager for health and human services at the city of Albuquerque. He works with Doug Chaplin, who's our head of family and community services. He's been with the city a little over 11 years, and his last day is April 30th, and we're going to miss him tremendously. On March 1st of 2016 is why we're really here for Michael, because he did something extraordinary. But I want to thank you, Michael, for your dedication, your leadership, your passion. This man has coached me up on what, as a mayor, what a mayor ought to be doing in the community. And so every time I get a chance to stand up and say get some accolades as an administration, it goes back to guys like Michael who really live this, and Doug and our city employees. So thanks for that. So now let's talk about what he did extraordinarily well. On March 1st of 2016, Michael was walking on the Marquette sidewalk during his lunch break, and he happened upon an individual who was unresponsive, who was sprawled across the ground. While the rest of the bystanders really weren't doing a lot, they were looking, didn't know what to do, quite frankly, Michael did. A quick assessment of the man showed that he was in need of medical attention. Michael flagged down another pedestrian, asked that pedestrian to call 911, and they also have the Presbyterian Mobile Health Unit that you see parked downtown, another initiative that we did in our first term is paying a lot of dividends. And he sent somebody down there to get some help as well. While the other pedestrian went for help, Michael began to administer CPR. Shortly after, personnel from the mobile unit came to assist with an automatic external defibrillator and another emergency equipment. Minutes later, the Albuquerque Fire Department responders arrived on scene, and after a few moments were able to get a pulse back for this individual. They then prepped the individual for transportation to the hospital, and it was later discovered that this man was suffering from a cardiac arrest. So just another example of Michael doing something good in the community, and that's why he's today's Employee of the Week. I'm going to have Doug Chaplin give you a little bit more information on Michael, and then is Pat here?
She was not able to make it.
Not able to make it. So anyway, Doug, why don't you talk a little bit more about Michael and the work that he does, and then I'll get the award here.
Thank you, Mayor. Michael, I just want to say it has been a tremendous honor working with you over the years, and that amazing act of kindness that you demonstrated back on March 1st is really just representative of your whole body of work that you performed throughout your tenure at the city of Albuquerque and before that. You've worked and involved yourself in programs, knowledge and mental health areas of homelessness. I mean, this guy at one time went out and pretended to be homeless so that he could learn more about the experience of people being homeless on the street. And he's been a tremendous asset to the department and to the city of Albuquerque to teach us the type of services that we need to put in place that make lives for our most vulnerable citizens better in the city of Albuquerque. And so, Mike, just from the bottom of my heart, I just want to thank you so much for all your work.
Thank you. That's really nice.
So you save lives, you get a mug. And we have our Employee of the Week coffee mug for Michael, and of course we always have a certificate for Employee of the Week, Michael, for you, and a letter for your personnel file. But man, I just got to tell you, thanks for the passion. Thanks for your caring for your fellow brothers and sisters in the community. This guy's the real deal, and we just appreciate your service. You want to say anything at all? Normally we don't have employees. We don't put them on the spot. You want to say anything?
Well, I wasn't expecting this, but Doug didn't tell me this was happening.
Okay.
I thought I was in trouble about it. No, I'm just kidding. No, I wasn't the only one that helped with this, but this is very kind of you to think of that. So I really appreciate it. I'm real conflicted about leaving the city, but it's time. So.
Well, yeah, and be in touch, because we'll rely on your expertise and your passion in the years to come. So, Michael, congratulations. We appreciate
Well,
it.
thank you.
Today we're recognizing Albuquerque police officers for their compassion towards a woman who was in emotional distress. And so with us today is Officer Morgan, is it McBrayer? McBrayer. Officer Steve Lowell.
Yes, sir.
Officer Paul, is it How? Paul Howe, and Officer David Munoz, and then Officer Dwight Porlis Jr.
They were unable.
They're graveyard officers. Okay, so they're home sleeping right now. Let me tell you the story and why this is a great story to tell about your public safety professionals. A woman named Mrs. Peterson wanted to walk her dog around Roosevelt Park. When she parked at the curb and went to let her dog out of the passenger side, a man walked up to her car and demanded the keys. He threatened to do harm if she didn't give him the keys. And if she didn't hand them over, and he showed her a gun that he had hidden in his jacket. After giving him her keys, Mrs. Peterson ran across the park towards a group of men yelling for help because she was in distress, and one of those individuals called 911. When she looked back, she noticed that her car was still at the curb and that the man and the keys were gone. When the three officers arrived on scene very shortly thereafter, they could tell that she was upset. They comforted her while they gathered the information that she needed. Officer Lowell took her to her house to retrieve a spare set of keys. And when they arrived back to the park, the officers advised her that if she receives a call from someone regarding her keys, to please call them immediately. Her phone number was attached to her stolen keyring, and that's why they said that. When Miss Peterson was finally able to leave the scene and go home, one of the officers advised her that after he has been involved in a stressful situation, he found that chocolate always helps calm him down. Later that evening, she received a phone call from the offender telling her to meet back at the Target in Uptown parking lot if she wanted her keys back. Following the instructions from earlier in the day, she called APD officers. Officer Munoz Porlis met her at the parking lot, and they did their thing. They were there for her as police officers. The individuals pulled up, and a female got out of the car and walked over and tossed the key ring from the missing car back into Miss Peterson's vehicle. Officer Munoz then jumped into action, and while Officer Porlis followed the man in the car, they eventually catch the thieves, and later the couple admitted that they planned to follow her home and take her car from her house. And I think, isn't there some other part of the story, like they didn't steal it originally because they didn't know how to drive a stick shift or something?
Yeah, they killed it.
Doesn't that guy go on Jimmy Fallon's Dumb Criminals thing? Potentially. But
That's what we assumed, at least.
so I guess the story here is a couple of things, gentlemen. A woman's in distress. Something bad happened to her. Officers show up from APD, comfort her in a tough situation, but then don't just write a report and go home. They talked to her about what could potentially happen. In this case, it did happen, where the perpetrators were going to try to commit additional crime on this woman. And they were able to be smart, go above and beyond just the initial call, set up a plan. Bad folks get arrested. And that's what these folks do each and every day. And I know Mrs. Peterson is very thankful for that as well. Chief is going to tell you a little bit more about these officers and what they do every day. Chief?
Sure. You guys like students, so we like each other. Thank you so much. Every day the men and women of the Albuquerque Police Department do really extraordinary things. They rise above the call of the duty every single day. You know what these officers were able to do is they recognize crime patterns. They recognize the activities of how our criminals are working in our city. And it's because of that, they were able to let our victim know what to expect next. And they were exactly right. They were exactly right that this is what would happen. You know, these are exceptional officers doing exceptional things, and I'm really proud of them. I think, all too often we say you're not recognized for the exceptional work that you do every day. but every day you do exceptional work. So on behalf of not only the mayor, but the citizens of the city of Albuquerque, thank you guys for going that extra effort. Mayor, I'd also like to let you know that these are also some of our field training officers. So they had the ability and the capability to influence our new generation of police officers. They're able to give them real life experience about what to expect in the field, but also they're learning firsthand from these officers right here how important it is for us to engage in our community and make sure that our community knows that we are there not only as law enforcement officers, but we are there to help them. And exceptional work, and congratulations to all of you. Thank you guys for what you do.
And we have, what we have is a Fridays Heroes coin that we've commissioned for this exact purpose, and it comes with, so you get a coin, but what you really get is our gratitude from the mayor, from your community, from our families, our businesses, for everything that you do. You go out there every day, you put your lives on the line, you work hard. And in a case like this, which is I'm sure is not an exception, you go above and beyond. It's not just about showing up and taking a report and going on your way. You're helping our people, their quality of life, and you're keeping them safe. So from me and your community, I just want to say thank you very much for all your work. Be safe out there, fellas, and thanks for watching.